Good evening and welcome along to the show, and what a show it is this evening. We've been out and about at the Ulster Museum for the launch of this year's Belfast International Arts Festival. More on that a little bit later on. Football super agent John Smith also joins us on the show tonight, and we'll be catching up with the cast of Lockdown DLA, a brand new comedy which is on its way to the Mac. As well as that, the Antrim Coast Half Marathon takes place this weekend, and we'll be chatting to Lindsay Armstrong from Volunteer Now. But before all that, let's talk about this year's festival. The Belfast International Arts Festival returns in October, and here's what happens when I went along to the launch.
Niché dans le haut du beffroi, ton encadrant sur quatre faces.
So it's not often I get out of the studio to spend a nice sunny day in Belfast. I'm here at the Ulster Museum for the launch of the Belfast International Arts Festival. The launch is taking place inside at the moment, and we'll be chatting to some of the people involved in this year's festival. So Ruth, we heard you performing in there. Tell us about the piece that you did in there for us.
So Joanne Quigley and myself, Joanna's from the Fuse Ensemble in Uri, who's also performing in the festival. We played some Piazzolla, which Joanna's playing in her concert, which is connected with BMS. And the second piece, My Lagan Love, obviously that everybody knows, but this was a very special arrangement by Neil Martin, Belfast composer. And actually my little evening in the Belfast International Arts Festival is an album launch called Aura, which is reimagined Irish air, some well known, some not as well known, still very beautiful, but Neil Martin has arranged them just for solo piano and recorded them over lockdown, so this is the launch evening.
Excellent. So after being locked away for so long, it must be great to get back out and performing live again.
It is, even though, I mean, I always laugh, I'm a definite introvert, pure, I think a lot of musicians and artists are, so I was quite happy sort of being locked away, although, when you do start playing in a room full of people, especially after they've been locked away, you can really feel, there's such a genuine joy and gratitude with live performances now. It's very special, and it helps you to sort of relax into that mode again, because it takes a bit of time to get back into performing when you haven't been. But yeah, definitely. I mean, even the buzz today at the launch is beautiful.
Brilliant. Give us the date, where and when we can see you then.
So Saturday the 29th of October in Rosemary Street, First Church in Rosemary Street, which is actually where the Aura, the album, was recorded. So we always wanted to perform it there at the launch.
That's a lovely venue, isn't it?
It's beautiful, very intimate, a lot of history, and it's on a Saturday night, so there's no excuse for people not to be there.
Exactly. Ruth, the very best of luck with the album and the launch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Zoe, here we are in Belfast. The sun is shining, isn't it? It's just a fabulous day.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
So we're talking about the International Arts Festival. Obviously, big Telly has to be involved. So what's your involvement this year then?
So we're doing a world premiere of a piece called Frankenstein's Monster is Drunk and the Sheep Have All Jumped the Fences.
What a title, and I'm glad you remembered it, because I would never remember the name of it. How did it all come about? Tell us the story behind this.
It's a short story by Owen Booth, and it won the Moth Short Story Prize in 2018. I read it at that stage and just fell in love with it and started communicating with Owen and saying, please, can we do an adaptation? And he was up for it. So that's what we're doing. It's a really beautiful story. It's kind of about what would happen if Frankenstein's monster turned up in your community and had to kind of fit in. How would we all respond? So it's funny, but it's also got a lot of depth and a lot to say about post-conflict, and it's extraordinary crack.
All right, so what about dates and stuff? Where can we see it?
It opens at the Brian Friel Theatre on the 14th of October and runs for about 10 days there, and then we go to London and then New York.
Brilliant.
It's exciting.
Exactly, all right. So tell us who's in it then, who've you got?
We have Nikki Harley, Chris Robinson, Rodri Lewis and Vicky Allen. So 4 extraordinary actors, and they're just going to be a brilliant ensemble. It's a very, very playful ensemble piece. There's a bit of singing, a bit of dancing, a lot of fun, a lot of interaction. I think it's going to be a really exciting time.
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to Frankenstein and...
Frankenstein's monster was drunk and the sheep have all jumped the fences.
I'll never remember, but we look forward to it when it comes to the festival. Thank you, Zoe.
No problem.
So, Gary, last time I saw you,
Yeah.
you were playing my good friend Des Lee.
Yes, I
Miami
was.
Showband story.
I was, yes, and I've changed career paths and moved behind the table, and I'm now a producer for Cahoots, a fantastic local theatre company who specialises in making theatrical adventures for young people and their families.
And I remember the show last year was something quite spectacular.
Yes.
So, how are you going to top that?
Well, the Grim Hotel last year was absolutely fantastic. Sold out before we opened, which was amazing. And during a COVID time, we were able to reduce the audience numbers right down and have a real intimate environment where everything was socially distanced. Now this year, with everything sort of expanding, we've expanded the show. So we're now have 45 people in the audience, but we're still going to keep that intimate setting. And this year we're hosting a show called The Ghost House. So this year is a brand new show, brand new story, but it's set in the same place. We're in Cityside Retail Centre. We are in the back of there, about 12,000 square foot warehouse, which we have completely reimagined again. But this year it's going to be a little bit more spooky. I think that's what's well. Got a bit of feedback last year that people wanted scarier stuff, so we're going down a real ghost story route this year, original stories, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be fantastic.
When can we see this then?
We're on from the 14th of October straight through to the 31st of October. We've got, the shows are 75 minutes long and they run 5 times a day during the week and then 10 times a day at the weekends.
Wow.
So the shows overlap with each other, so an audience can start at 1 o'clock and then 1:45 and then 2:15 and so on, so on, so on. So yeah.
Brilliant. Looking forward to it.
Can't wait. Please come and see us.
I will definitely. Best of luck with the show.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
The main man is here. Richard, 60 years of the festival. It must be great to be involved in the 60th anniversary.
It's a real privilege, Robin, I have to say. And what a joy as well, because we're really pushing the boat out this year. It opens the autumn season of the festival on the 5th of October, and we go right through to the 6th of November.
Yeah.
And we have work coming to us from right around the world.
Yeah, Africa, Canada, everywhere this year, isn't it?
But we also are able to showcase our own talent as well, and that's tremendously important. So that's why we lay great emphasis on the homegrown talent.
Yeah.
And we've got new work up at the Lyric Theatre from the great Conor Mitchell.
Propaganda, yeah.
Propaganda the musical, a really wonderful piece. One of the artists we're most proud of is our very own Una Doherty. So I hope that your viewers will have a chance to look at the programme either online or in print.
Exactly.
And online we're at www.belfastinternationalartsfestival.com for all your international and local cultural needs.
Now, one of the shows that I'm looking forward to seeing is Paul Carrick. It's always worth going to see. When you think of the career he's had, from Ace in the 70s to Squeeze, Mike and the Mechanics, and a big solo career as well.
I actually have at home, Robin, viewers, this is how old I am, I have the original 7-inch vinyl of How Long by Ace.
Really?
I have.
Wow.
And I'm a very big fan. That sort of a blue-eyed soul that he specialises in is terrific. And the man is a workhorse.
Yeah.
He's out there, gigging around the world. When he was here last, just before COVID, he sold out the Opera House in a very short period of time. So that's one to get onto very quickly, guys.
I just opened the brochure there on how to fail as a pop star. Tell me about that.
Well, that's another Canadian work. There's a big focus on Canadian artists working in contemporary culture. And Vivek Shreya is a trans artist who is at the top of her game, really better known for her writing, for her novels. But this is more of a cabaret piece. How to Fail as a Pop Star is really a bittersweet story of her journey through showbiz. And it's a very beautiful piece of work. She is great, funny, eclectic, vivacious, and she's with us in the first week of the festival. So that's fantastic. That'll be at the Mac, and it's sort of juxtaposed against Frank McGinnis's play, which is downstairs in the Mac. And Vivek is upstairs in the studio that first weekend in October.
Brilliant. So there's something for everyone. Give us the website details to book our tickets again.
Once again, it's www.belfastinternationalartsfestival.com.
Brilliant. Richard, the best of luck with the festival.
Thank you.
And as always, it's good to see you.
Thanks very much, Robin, and thank you very much to your viewers as well.
Thank you. Now, the Antrim Coast Half Marathon is taking place over the bank holiday weekend, and Volunteer Now are looking for around 250 people to take part in this year's marathon. To find out more, Lindsay Armstrong joins us in the studio. Lindsay, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me today.
So first of all, tell us about the marathon, because apparently this is one of the fastest ever marathons, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So the marathon, this particular half marathon was first established in 2020, so in the middle of the pandemic, and it was only the elite race at that stage, but it's because of the sort of natural backdrop and in terms of our natural coastline where this marathon will run. So it will start in Larne itself around the town, and then it heads up that beautiful A2 coast all the way up to Ballygally Hotel and then back down again into Larne. So it's a reasonably flat race, which helps to make it one of the fastest.
Exactly. Now, doesn't Sir Mo Farah, doesn't he hold the record for the fastest time?
He certainly does, and he actually won it back in 2020 and is an ambassador for the event. So it's fantastic to have someone of Mo's calibre connected to it. Now, he won't be here this year, unfortunately, but you know that there'll be lots of other elite athletes sort of coming along and adding to the event.
Okay, so do you have to be one of the big elite athletes to take part in this then?
Absolutely not. So there is the elite race. Those guys go first because they're the fastest, and then come later on that morning at 11 o'clock, the mass race will start. So there'll be well over 6,000 runners taking part in that, all of different abilities, but a real passion for running, and they'll be there too. So there's room for everybody, I think, within this half marathon.
Okay, tell us about Volunteer Now then. How did you guys get involved?
Yeah, well, Volunteer Now, volunteering is at the core of everything we do. We're a regional organisation, and we would support volunteering community groups in terms of best practice around volunteering. We recruit volunteers to get involved in lots of different things, and we also work on projects that we recruit, manage and support volunteers for ourselves. But really since about 2013, if you cast your mind back that far, we were involved in the World Police and Fire Games, which was held here in Northern Ireland. And we were brought on board as a partner to recruit volunteers specifically for that event. So that just had 3,500 volunteers recruited for that. And that's really where it all kicked off. We've been involved in event volunteering really since 2013, building and working in partnership with a range of different organisations, and we deliver our little part of it, which is the volunteering element. And I like to think of it as the kind of the sprinkles of the sparkle to the event. So those volunteers that bring that extra dimension, they bring that passion for Northern Ireland, and they want to share that with visitors and spectators and whoever wants to come to that event as well.
And it seems now as well that more people than ever before are volunteering now, and I suppose it has something to do with the pandemic, that people had more time to do new things, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think we found a range of things that have happened as pandemic. Certainly when the pandemic hit, there was lots of interest, that real call to action at a very local level where people sort of saw a very local need and they responded to it really quickly. We've always found that event volunteering is really great in bringing a real diverse range of people to volunteer. So people from different nationalities, people that are maybe have made Northern Ireland their home in recent years, but it's a great way of bringing people together, and also a great way of people to dip their toe into the water of volunteering, because we're not asking for a long-term commitment. We're asking them to be involved in a particular event. Now, there will be some training to get them prepared in the run-up to that, but there's a start and a middle and an end to the event volunteering. So I think there's a comfort there for people that they're not signing their life away to volunteer, but they can dip in. And we certainly have an events volunteer database specifically for people who just want to get involved in those one-off events, and they will give their time and give their time generously, but we want to keep adding to that pool of people, and that's really why we're making a call out for volunteers.
All right, so you're looking for about 250 people, aren't you?
We are indeed. We need volunteers, like any of those big events, volunteers to help provide that extra support. So we're really looking for volunteers to be route marshals. We have 13.1 miles to cover, so there's 13.1 miles of volunteering opportunities for people, and that's really to provide a little bit of support to the runners, cheer them along, also to provide support to the spectators to make sure that we keep those guys safe, and also to try to ensure and work alongside the PSNI that people aren't trying to access that route while the race is still active. But a real chance to be part of the action and to get a front row seat really to the elite athletes and the maths runners who will be taking part in this event.
So the event takes place on the Sunday, but I believe there's stuff happening for all the family right over the weekend, isn't there?
There is indeed. There's going to be a real carnival, I think, sort of sense around this event. And on the Saturday evening, there's going to be a kids' mile, and that will be looping round Larne town itself. And there will also be then a classic street mile where anybody over the age of 16, so that includes myself, will be taking part in that as well. And it's really, I suppose, to try to encourage and support people who maybe would never think or would have the fitness levels to do a half marathon, but to get them thinking and take part in something that you could run or you could walk and you could still be part of that. And a really exciting thing for that event that's happening on the Saturday evening is that the Olympian medal winner Jo Pavey, she's going to come and do a warm-up for the kids. So a real inspirational figure to sort of get people motivated and get people moving.
So a great way to spend your bank holiday weekend. If people want to join you, how do they sign up for this then?
If people want to join us, they can link into our events page through events@volunteernow.co.uk. They can give us a call on our landline on 028 90 23 2020. If they go onto our website, volunteernow.co.uk, onto the events page, they can also register that way as well. But please give us a call or email. Even if you're just not sure, we'd be delighted to have a conversation with you and kind of give you a little bit more information about what volunteering at this event will mean.
Brilliant. Well, Lindsay, the best of luck with the event, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Take care.
Time for a great track now from a music legend who's on his way to Belfast. He comes to the Grand Opera House on the 26th of October as part of this year's Belfast International Arts Festival. Here is the legendary Paul Carrick.
I'm going to do a song now written by Pete Saville and Jim Capaldi and myself, recorded by the Eagles on their Hell Freezes Over album. It's called Love Will Keep Us Alive. I was standing all alone against the world outside. You were searching for a place to hide, lost and lonely. Now you've given me the will to survive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. Don't you worry, sometimes you've just gotta let it ride. The world is changing right before when we're hungry, love will keep us alive. I would die for you, climb the highest mountain. Baby, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you. 'Cause now I found you, there's no more emptiness inside. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. keep us alive.
Now let's meet our next guest. We're hearing a lot about exam results and A-level results and people choosing their future careers. But what about a career in football or a career in sport? We're going to talk now to the original football super agent. He joins us now on the line, John Smith. So we'll talk about careers in football in just a second. But tell me this, how did you get into the world of football as a full-time career then?
Kind of by default. My two loves in life were music and football. I'm an Arsenal supporter. If you cut me, I still bleed red. I was one of the guys behind Northern Soul those years in the 70s. If you were old enough, you kind of remember that. It's going back quite a while now. And I sold out in 1981 and went to live in America. I went to live in Los Angeles, which was an eye-opener for me because they were doing things in sport that we were doing in music. The 80s in English football was not a great time, you know. Yeah. There was Heysel and Bradford and things like that. People were dying in stadia. Whereas in America, it was like party time. You took your family, it was good fun. We had what's called a family enclosure in England, English football in the 80s, which said to me, you know, that part of the ground's rubbish. Don't go there. This is okay though. And I just thought that's just not the way it should be. So I brought all these ideas back. I started a company called First Artist, which was actually Barbra Streisand and Dustin Hoffman's movie business, and they junked the company, made What's Up Doc and The Main Event, and I just loved the name. So I managed to get hold of that, and I came back and I was very fortunate and landed a couple of really big clients fairly rapidly, and then got taken under the wing of Rupert Murdoch when we started working towards forming the Premier League.
Now tell me about Diego Maradona, because you looked after him for quite some time. Would you agree that Diego Maradona was the greatest footballer in the world?
I think he was slightly biased, but you know, he was small, so he had a very low center of gravity, and very, very strong. And he honestly, but he was, in my opinion, Diego was two people. Diego was lovely, that little kid from the back streets of Buenos Aires, and we spent a lot of good time together at his home in Napoli. Just a lovely, warm, caring human being. And then there was Maradona, who was the performer, and Maradona believed that he was God-gifted to procreate the greatest game on the planet to the highest level it's ever been.
And would that have been the greatest highlight of your career then, looking after him?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's, you know, there's been two people, one in sport and one in politics, who captured my heart. One was Diego, and one I was fortunate enough to work with Mikhail Gorbachev when he left power, and that was quite sensational for obvious reasons. I thought Gorbachev had made the world a safer place by breaking up the Soviet Union. Obviously, Vladimir Putin has different views on that.
Now, we're hearing a lot about the exam results at the moment and the A-level results out this week as well. And we're finding out from new research that a number of people don't actually know that a career in sport is actually possible, but it is, isn't it?
Look, I think this is the greatest career opportunity on the planet, and I guess I would say that. But I've had such great fun, and it's been a privilege to work with some of the people that I've worked with, some of the greatest sporting talent on the planet. But it's not just trying to be a nice guy and putting your arm around them and procreating better sponsorship deals and whatever. It's all about the sport.
Yeah.
But the next sentence says it's all about the money also. So you really do need to know about finances, and it's more and more and more important. I mean, I was I kind of wrote down, I made these notes actually on the way in the cab here. I just wrote down component parts of a football deal, and in no particular order: signing on fees, loyalty bonuses, image rights, bonus schemes, pension regulations, international appearance regulations, commissions and fees to participants, of which there can be 7 or 8 or more in a transfer trade, family fees, solidarity payments, relegation deductions, promotional winning bonuses. And that's before you get to the the tax and the legal parts of that equation as well. So you really do need to be master of ceremonies, which means that you need to know finances.
Now, I'm just taking a look at the latest research here, which shows that 4 in 10 people would actually jump at the chance of becoming a football agent.
Yeah, and 75% of those don't believe that they have any chance of doing that unless they're playing. So, it's it is an open door. This industry is actually growing. Sadly, I don't want to be negative because I'm a very upbeat, positive person, but we are going to go through some turgid times in the coming weeks and months. And I think the sports industry, football in particular, is going to provide a great escapism for people. It's those audiences are only going to grow. We currently are seen by nearly 2 billion people every weekend. It's probably the greatest emotional export we've had since the Beatles in the 60s. And I just think now is a great time to get into it. But you've got to bring something to it. And unless you know the next greatest superstar in whatever sport you're wanting to enter, you've either got to have a legal background or you've got to understand the money.
And of course, it's not just mainstream football out there at the moment as well. We've seen a huge surge in popularity for the ladies' football now as well, haven't we?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'm quite friendly with Seb Coe. We were having a chat after the Lionesses win, and I said, I just hope this isn't in a way a 2012 moment where, we had these wonderful icons at the Olympics in 2012 and people like Greg Rutherford, and it turned 2013 and 2014 and people forgot how to spell Rutherford. They just, that wonderful charismatic idolatry didn't carry on. And I just hope that the Lionesses is not just a moment in time. I really do hope it encourages more girls to be, more women to be involved in football and sport, in any sport. And by the way, football itself is going through some at the lower levels some fairly tough times, and the ladies provides an alternative, cheaper version, because it is cheaper to buy season tickets at ladies' games than it is at men's games. So it's a menu for people now who want to be involved in sport.
And English football is massive in places like Singapore at the minute. I was talking to somebody the other day who told me that.
Yeah, look, it's all over the world. China is, for restricted purposes, is the only place where it's not overly promoted, but everywhere else it flies the flag. And I think it's the repository of a lot of people's emotions these days, that as opposed to going to a synagogue or a church or a mosque or wherever you go to repair yourself emotionally after your exertions of a good or a bad week, today people hide inside sport, which is a huge compliment, but it's also something that we shouldn't be taking for granted, and we need to manage that financially correctly.
And to finish off with, John, any big predictions in the coming months? How's Arsenal going to do?
I think Arsenal are going to do very well. I think Manchester United, because of their current position, both emotionally and financially, are going to have to pay higher than they've ever paid for people to come and join them because of their current status. I think Chelsea are going to spend more than they probably should, but Todd Bowley wants to show that he can be as good an owner as Roman. I think down the bottom, I think Everton are going to really struggle, and there's talk about them selling one of their best players to Newcastle or to Chelsea. It's a £40 million. It's a big question mark. I think Frank's got a real struggle on there. And I think Nottingham Forest are going to, if they can keep that emotional wave that they've got going, I think they might actually do okay. Everyone thought they were going to go straight back down again. But it's kind of funny, look at the table now, and I go back to the 1970s, all sorts of strife going on in the public markets, and Manchester United at bottom of the league. History repeats itself.
Well, John, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your time.
Right, let's talk comedy now. We're going to find out about a new play called Lockdown DLA, which comes to the Mac in September. Why am I holding back the laughter? I'll tell you why. Because the stars of the show, Matthew McElhinney and Matthew Forsythe, join me in the studio. Guys, I got to say, first of all, Matthew, that's not the way you dress in real life.
Thank you, Rob. No, it's not. It's not.
He loves it, really. He loves it.
I was under the illusion we were doing this in character.
The last time we done this play, he kept that tash on for about a month or two after.
Oh, I think
Really?
so.
Yeah.
Good credit tax. I pretend it was for Movember, but it wasn't really.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the last time because I came to see it. It was called Dog DLA Afternoon,
That's
wasn't
right.
it?
Yeah. It was. Well, it was a satire of Dog Day Afternoon, and the two characters rob a food bank or get held up in a food bank, and then there's a whole hostage situation, and we kind of got so much. Well, we enjoyed it ourselves so much, but the response was so kind of overwhelming for it that we thought we've got to bring these two characters back. So here we are.
So tell us about your character then. What's he like?
I am Davy LaVenezuelan Taylor's top man at the LA, and this is his sidekick, Crazy Horse McCracken. Say hello, horse.
Hello. How are you?
So, yeah, it's a satirical paramilitary organisation, cross-community paramilitary organisation, and just kind of making fun of those kind of stock characters. So this is what the two of us have come up with, along with Stephen, the writer.
Yeah, of course, Stephen the writer, people will remember his Facebook pages and social media from the Dundonald Liberation Army, which was massive. Thousands of people were watching that every week, weren't they?
Yeah. I think he's over, was it 40,000 or 50,000 followers or something silly?
Yeah.
Probably a lot more now.
More, I'd say now, yeah.
Yeah, probably a lot more. Yeah. It's gathered a lot of pace.
Yeah, I mean, well, that web page is kind of evolved into this now, but it evolved into this stage play, and we were kind of fortunate enough to be the ones that were, or unfortunate enough to be the ones that had to bring it to life. So here we are back again with them, you know.
So is it good for you to be back out acting again and having a laugh? Because the last time we were talking about Stones in His Pockets, which you were directing, and that was a huge success, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's great to be back doing it. I mean, I've been doing both recently, but I kind of haven't done as much acting in a while now. So it's great to get back at it and to do something that's just so much fun. You know, it's just total catharsis, relief. The other project I'm working on at the minute, I believe you had Richard in a couple of days ago, which I'm directing his project, which is like, you could not get more opposite.
Yes.
Because it's a very kind of heavy piece about PTSD, and which I'm directing, and this is just total madness. So it's great to have the two going on at the same. I'm going to be very busy, but it's going to be.
Yeah. Matthew, we've had you in a few times over the past little while as well. I mean, Night in November was massive for you, wasn't it? Yeah,
and Matthew directed that as well, which was an even bigger success than Stones, I believe. No, honestly, no, he's done a great job, and he's top of his game at the minute. So yeah, I've been in for it. It was a great piece of theatre, so it was just lovely to get back working with Matthew again on the stage. Yeah, because we've such a good bounce off each other. Yeah. And we work well together. You know, as actors as well.
I know. I think the first time we did it, we didn't really know what to expect or make of it. I mean, we just thought, how are we gonna say half these things? But in the doing of it, it just became probably the most fun I've ever had performing in a show. Yeah. And you kind of almost wanted things to go wrong, because then you could, you know, there was always that kind of thrill of trying to keep it on the rails, you know.
So what can we expect from the show this time around then?
More lunacy, more craziness. It's us stuck in our apartment, stuck in Davy's apartment, and just before lockdown, we were about to sort of separate and go our separate ways, because I was getting I had married and a child, and Davy was getting married.
The two have a completely kind of toxic, codependent relationship.
Yeah. At the same time, lockdown came at the right time, because I think they don't want to leave each other, you know, but no, they family life comes calling. Yeah, so I'm planning to marry the pre-op transsexual cabaret dancer of my dreams. Horses
Horse's several courses of UVF treatment that finally worked. And his wife, or his partner Susie's 6 months pregnant, so time's come to an end for the boys.
Yeah.
And they're saying their emotional goodbyes, and then of course
this happens.
COVID happens, and they're not going anywhere.
And then they're trying to, generate ways of making money while they're not, doing their normal job of looking after the community. If you can say it like that.
Stock and bog roll.
Stock and bog roll. And then the other things that come from lockdown, you ban random stuff online. So there's a jacuzzi in there, I think, at one point.
Yeah, there's a jacuzzi. Yeah, there's a battle with the woman across the street for the clap for carers.
There's a whole
which
wrestling.
escalates.
And I'm noticing the bling there as well. You've got more bling than Mr. T on at the minute as well.
This is I've actually light on it today, but this is all part of Luke Robin.
So lockdown DLA, it's on at the Mac. When can we see it then?
We can see it. Oh, help me out here, Matt. 14th to the 18th of September.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We look forward to it, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. So we continue our series on how people coped during the lockdown period. I'm pleased to say we're joined in the studio today by John, the Venezuelan tailor, and...
I'm going to stop you here, Robin.
It's Davey. It's Davey, exactly. I should really know
That's
that,
John.
shouldn't I? Yes.
Hey, could you mix the two of us up?
Crazy horse.
Right, take that question again there. Hey, I have an appointment at 3 o'clock to get these roots done, so keep her snappy, all right?
So once again, we continue our series about lockdown stories, and I'm pleased to say that Davey, the Venezuelan tailor, and John Horse McCracken join us in the studio to tell us about their experiences. Guys, welcome. How was it for you then?
Lockdown was a nightmare, Robin. I'm not going to lady. Tell him, Horse.
It was wild, so it was, Mr. Elliott. Well, we've just suffered so much because we helped the community, and the community suffered. Because lockdown, because we weren't out in the streets.
COVID! Locked in together.
And did the two of you find that you became closer together? Did your relationship develop during this time?
Oh, I had, because Davey couldn't get out to do the sunbeds or get his fake tan, so I was rubbing him in all sorts of places and having to massage him, because he always loved his wee Thai massage.
There were a few intimate moments, Robin. There were. And you can tell that you're married, man. It was an experience.
I took one for the team. Robin, took one for the team,
More ways than one. Yeah, what can I say? Crystal wasn't there, when you get very lonely in lockdown. Wife.
So they're happily married now. So what we had to do, Robin, because my wee woman was pregnant and she was giving birth at the time, and at the same time we had to marry Davey and Crystal over Zoom. At the exact same time, I had my wee Susie on FaceTime, who gave birth to my wee man.
Right. A lot of people during lockdown took to baking as well, and banana bread became a big thing. Did you guys get busy in the kitchen?
I was the king of banana bread. Tell you. You liked it, Horse, didn't you?
That was great, Davey. Great enough.
Banana breaking. Joe Wicks. With the Joe Wicks in the morning. About 3 o'clock. I was too hungover to do it in the morning, but 3 o'clock for Joe Wicks, remember, every day. Horse would never miss him.
No, a wee TikTok every now and again, just interested.
You had me up prancing about in the internet like Michael Flatley.
Well, you got there in the end, Davey, didn't you?
I learnt the guitar. Horse wrote a song. Sing him your song, Horse.
No, not for the TV.
Oh, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear your song.
What's the...
What song?
It's the song is about, it's what do you call him, Bono?
Bono?
The cover of Bono and Bob Geldof. It was one long before MT crawled out of woodwork.
Well, maybe we'll get you back in to perform it at some other time
I
for
would do, warm up the old vocal cords.
Exactly. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Good to be here, Robin.
Thank you. Now, earlier on, we caught up with Ruth McGinley, who's also appearing in this year's Belfast International Arts Festival. Her gig happens on the 29th of October, and here she is performing live. And of course, to catch Ruth and everything else happening at this year's festival, check out the website belfastinternationalartsfestival.com. That's all we have time for on the show this week. I'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.